The mass layoffs that happened at ESPN over the last several weeks were inevitable. They were always going to happen because, like we've talked about, mainstream sports media has been failing for quite some time now. Their viewership has been declining as more and more fans decide, you know what? I'm not going to tune into ESPN anymore. I'm not going to tune into sports, and I'm not going to tune into these talk shows because, quite honestly, they spend more time talking about social justice and identity politics at times than they do talking about what's happening on the court. And people don't want that anymore. That's why ESPN had to do this. And for a long time, as Disney struggles everywhere, theme parks, box office, streaming, and of course at ESPN, the question's been floated. Would things be that dire for them to sell something that's been in decline like ESPN? Well, Bob Iger talked about this the other day in an interview, and he didn't necessarily rule it out. Now, it doesn't sound like he wants to sell off ESPN wholesale, but it certainly looks like he wants somebody to come in there and give them a big influx of cash to become a partner at ESPN because, quite honestly, they need it. With all the failures Disney has had, they're desperate now for somebody to come in and throw them billions of dollars to basically take half ownership at ESPN. Disney opened to sell portions of ESPN to combat declines, and this was the direct quote from Iger. Disney's open to finding a new strategic partner for ESPN. They've talked about selling off some of their linear brands like ABC or Freeform or some of these TV channels that they have, but when it came to ESPN, Bob Iger specifically said they're open to a new strategic partner because they do think sports has a big upside. They do think they can make a lot of money in the long run. They don't want to sell off ESPN, even though it's struggling right now because they think there's big money in the future. But they are looking at these options. Iger, who recently signed an extension through 2026, says Disney would also consider selling or spinning off its linear television networks like ABC, FX, National Geographic, and Freeform. Transformative work is dealing with businesses that are no-growth businesses and what to do about them, particularly the linear business, which we're expansive and are thinking about. And we're going to look expansively about opportunities because clearly it's a business that's going to continue to struggle. Iger adds that Disney has conversations with potential partners that could improve ESPN's streaming business. ESPN's in the process of launching direct-to-consumer product called Flagship that would offer the linear ESPN channel as a standalone streaming service. One of the things, as people are cutting the cable cord, they're also cutting a big bill that goes directly to ESPN. That's a big thing people didn't realize. ESPN had a massive portion of everyone's just normal nominal fees for cable. A lot of that went directly in the pockets of ESPN, whether you were watching ESPN or not. That's just how they split it up. That's how the cable companies split it up. A big chunk of that went to ESPN. As millions, tens of millions of people are canceling cable, ESPN has been losing out on all that passive income. That's why they feel the need to launch this individual channel service, even though they already have ESPN Plus, they already have things like that out there, but I guess they needed to recreate the wheel. ESPN receives some $9.42 per month of the average cable bill, collecting fees from each customer that has access to its network. Again, you don't have to watch it. That's just part of your cable bill. But the fact that they're actually looking at having an investor come into ESPN, it's selling off some of their ownership stake in ESPN is very, very telling as to where this company is at right now. But this is what happens when you prioritize all these things other than sports. And ESPN and all the people there have been paying the price. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.